Hi there. I just finished doing a video on completing the square. Okay? And the reason why someone would be asked to complete the square, sometimes if you get something like this, an equation like this, and you want to get it into this form, which is called vertex form, I'm just going to write it down like this. And this is another video where vertex form, if you see it like this, it's going to be a parabola. Okay, these are parabolas, and if you get it into this form, you can quickly see that the vertex, if you have it in this form, is you take the opposite of what you see here, so it would be positive h instead of negative h, and then you take the k right there, and that would be our vertex. So if you have been doing getting things into this form by completing the square, it works really well. The only thing is there is a really quick method that you can do to get things into this form without having to complete the square. So the formula for this quick method is negative b over 2a. Now, we would call this a, we would call this b, and over here I guess you could call that c. But in this case, we're only dealing with the a and the b. Okay? So negative b would be this 8 right here. So you take the opposite sign of what you see right here. So that'd be negative 8. And 2 times a, well, 2 times the first term. There's an invisible 1 here, so 2 times 1 is just 2. And so what you find when you do this, negative 8 divided by 2 is 4. What you find is that the value for h, or this x value, is negative 4. Okay? And if you want to find the y value, or this k on the end here, if you want to find that, all you do is plug it back into here. So you go negative 4 squared, that would be 16. 8 times negative 4 is negative 32. And then you have this plus 5 here. Okay? And if you were to take a calculator and just quickly go 16 minus 32 plus 5, you would get negative 11. Okay, so the vertex of this equation would be negative 4, negative 11, just using this quick little formula right here. It's really cool. If you had to write something in this form right here, you would just write it like this. You would go x, now change the sign, instead of negative 4 it would be plus 4 squared minus 11. And then you would have vertex form really quickly, just by throwing these numbers in these two spots. Okay? Do you want to try this with another one? It's up to you. Remember, the formula is negative b over 2a. And if we're supposed to figure out what the vertex is, you would say, okay, negative b is negative 12. And 2 times a would be 2 times, well, a is 2, so 2 times 2 is 4. And negative 12 divided by 4 is negative 3. So this is the x value of our vertex, negative 3. And remember, whoops, I don't know how that got there. If we want to figure out, I'll get rid of that. If we want to figure out what the y value is, all we have to do is sub that negative 3 back into this. So negative 3 times negative 3, I'm just doing this verbally, okay? Negative 3 times negative 3 is 9, and 9 times 2 is 18. Okay? Now, 12 times negative 3 is negative 36. I'm putting the negative 3 where I see the x. Then we have the plus 11, and if we want to, we could just quickly take a calculator and go 18 minus 36 plus 11, and we get negative 7. So that equals negative 7, which goes right there. So if we had to factor or show this thing in vertex form without completing the square, all we have to do is write it down, y equals, remember the a value is 2, so don't make that disappear. The a value is 2 in the front here. And then in vertex form, so the 2 comes down right there. And x, change the sign. Instead of minus 3, it's a plus 3. Squared, and then the y value goes right there. This is now in vertex form, and if you were to type this into Desmos or this in Desmos, you would get the exact same graph. Okay? Let's do this one. It's negative b over 2a. So if we want to find the vertex, all we do is go negative b, so negative 2, over 2 times a, 2 times negative 1, which is negative 2. So the x value of the vertex is 1. If you wanted to know the y value, well, just sub in the 1 right in here. So 1 times 1 is 1, so it's negative 1 altogether because that negative sign goes right in front. Then we have 2 times 1 is 2, and we have 3. Well, 2 plus 3 is 5, 5 minus 1 is 4. So the vertex of this would be 1, 4. If you had to write it in vertex form, don't forget the a value is a negative 1. X, take the opposite sign of what you see here, and then plus 4. And then we have vertex form very quickly compared to completing the square. And that's why this video is shorter than the one on completing the square. But I recommend watching the other one just to see how great this little formula, negative b over 2a, is for helping you. Take care.